This is a halogen light bulb. It's actually my halogen light bulb, and it's dimmer than your cousin Eddie at a paint huffing party.
Can you believe it? They used to test H-bombs on this beautiful piece of property.
Now this right here, this is a state-of-the-art actively cooled bicolor LED replacement bulb. This one's so bright that it'll make a bald eagle spill his beer standing up to salute you. But if we replace this with this, will it make it much better, or will it just fry my GX's brain and make it flicker like a rave with a roof rack on? I think we're gonna need one of these to find out. In this video, we're upgrading our GX460 with Auxbeam aftermarket LEDs. We'll cover the install, the beam patterns, we'll compare brightness, figure out this flickering issue, and blind the crap out of my neighbors. Also, you can try it before you buy it vicariously through me. All right, let's go play fast and loose with electricity.
God, what the hell, Jake? God.
Sorry, boss. Welcome back to Wasting Time in the Woods, the only place on YouTube where we pair overland upgrades with electrical mishaps and wonder why an insurance adjuster keeps wandering into the shot. Get out of here, Chuck. Today we are looking at LED lighting upgrades. Now, a quick disclosure, this video is sponsored by Auxbeam, makers of awesome off-road lighting and accessories that are probably too powerful to aim at your neighbor's face, but I'm not the boss of you. Now, I should also say that I'm not a mechanic or an electrician, and that this video is for entertainment purposes only, if you can call it that. No, Sue. Let's get started. So, why upgrade to LED lighting? Well, factory halogen headlights suck. They're 150-year-old technology perfected by Thomas Edison 6 years before cars were invented. They make light by sending electricity through a tiny piece of metal to make it glow white hot. Now, that uses a lot of electricity, but most of that energy is just converted to heat. In a confined space application like automotive lighting, they're just not that bright because you can't put them in a big enough globe to dissipate the heat. With halogens, you've got to make them bigger to make them brighter. If you show up at camp late at night with one of these, the raccoons are gonna laugh at you. LEDs, on the other hand, use a light-emitting diode to generate light. An LED is a semiconductor device that emits light by passing an electrical current through a medium to create electroluminescence. That's a sexy word. You show up late at night at camp with one of these, and the raccoons will piss themselves as they run away. LEDs produce 90 to 100 lumens per watt, while halogens only manage about 15. That means that with LEDs, you can get a ton more light out of a bulb given the same amount of physical space and electrical input. LED good, halogen bad. Video over. Well, not quite. Installing LEDs in a system designed for halogens can lead to some issues. First, there's the flicker. Halogen lights tolerate a wide range of voltage fluctuations. When you heat up a filament to the temperature of the sun, it doesn't cool down quickly, which creates stability in the light output. Now, if an LED's voltage drops, it responds pretty much instantly. RGX uses the same bulb for high beams and daytime running lights. To change the light into DRL mode, it just modulates the voltage in pulses in a process called pulse wave modulation. Those pulses show up as flickers in an LED. There's also space issues. Because LEDs are on chips and not in a vacuum sealed tube of glass, they generally need active cooling. There's some weird thin metal shim heatsink designs out there, but most manufacturers use a fan and they put it in the base of the bulb. Finally, there's beam pattern. Halogen bulbs usually have a vertical filament so that when the light is in the housing, the light is projected sideways out into the reflectors. Most modern LEDs, like our Auxbeams, place the diodes in the same general orientation like a halogen to simulate a similar pattern, but some cheaper brands still screw this up for some reason. All right, so those were the considerations. Let's talk about what we went with in our GX. For the high beams, I used Auxbeam GX-H11 bicolor bulbs. They're super bright, but the best part is that they do this. They have two sets of chips, one for daylight white and one for amber. Now, Auxbeam doesn't recommend these for cars like mine with the aforementioned pulse wave modulation DRL setup because, well, they'll flicker if you run them in daylight running mode. I found a way around that, which we'll get to in a minute. With these bulbs, if you cycle the high beams within 1 second, they switch colors. Amber lights reduce glare so that when it's pouring rain or foggy, they don't reflect back to you as much from the atmospheric conditions. It's also easier on the eyes, and using amber light will preserve more night vision, which is especially helpful when you're flying down a forest road at 45 miles an hour in pitch darkness. That's why I also went ahead and swapped out my ditch lights for these new Auxbeam XP Ultras while I was at it. They have amber covers and they will blind out of an elk. With bicolor amber headlights, you get the best of both worlds. Super bright headlights on the highway and better night vision on the trail. Now, before I installed them, I whipped out the light meter and I got a reading off the hotspot of the halogens of about 12,000 lux. Then I swapped them out for LEDs. Installing the LEDs is pretty straightforward. They've got a little ballast in the back here where the fan sits, and they have a small collar that allows you to rotate them to make sure you get them in the right orientation. When I measured the white high beam, I got 31,000 lux. It's almost 3 times as bright as the halogen output. It's a little hard to find the hotspot, so it might have been a little bit more or a little bit less than that. I actually prefer the yellow mode when I'm on the trail or on the highway because it doesn't blind me every time I pass a sign. Now, the one issue is that they flicker in DRL mode. To get around that, I realized I could just leave my lights on all the time instead of leaving them in automatic mode. That keeps the HIDs on and locks out the daytime running lights. The GX is still smart enough to turn them off when I shut down the vehicle, so everybody wins! Except my neighbors. They're still pretty pissed. So should you upgrade your headlights to LEDs? Well, if you want better looks, better visibility, better performance, then yeah, LEDs are a fantastic upgrade. Do they work in every scenario? No, but I found the trade-offs were well worth it for the increased visibility. If you're looking for fantastic quality aftermarket lighting and you don't want to pay a fortune, be sure to check out our sponsor, Auxbeam. Like, subscribe, and share if you want more dumb but useful GX content, and the next time someone tells you the LEDs are overrated, just remember, you can't throw a rave in the woods with halogens.